Just let the ship sink, talking about our sinking ship metaphor. I mean, it's going to sink. This is what we know about capitalism. It trends toward a final crisis from which it cannot recover. And we're in a current cost of living crisis with a frozen housing market, sort of like a essential thing. People need housing. If you don't have housing, I mean, most people who are homeless do still work anyway, but, being able to reliably cook your food and, do like take care of yourself, it's much harder. A lot of people are homeless. They will get like a gym membership or something like that so that they can use showers and things like that. But it's so much harder when you don't have your own resources. But still, most homeless people work. But yeah, housing, it's essential. Not having it is so hard, and it can be really hard to get back into housing once you lose it. And the housing market is going off the rails. Joe Biden, the entire Democratic Party, more or less, not making a single noise about it. The median house in the U.S., I think, is $450,000. Just for clarity, that's 415, not 50. But you have to be in like the 90th percentile for income to afford that. You have to be making over $100,000 a year to afford that. It's like over $4,000 a month for the monthly payment. Who can afford that? But yeah, that's where we're at. So the ship is sinking, and we're heading into another crisis. As we covered in last week's stream, Japan and the UK are already officially in recession. Germany is probably next to be labeled officially in recession, and the US has many early signs of a recession. The Conference Board leading index went below negative 4.5%. That is like a bulletproof metric going back to the 50s. Every time it does that, there is a recession. It's the inverted bond yield curve, all kinds of stuff that foretells a recession. People's spare money that they got during the pandemic has dried up. A lot of the holiday spending was put on credit that people can't afford. This year and next, we're going to see the bill come due, and it's going to be super fucking ugly. And there will be a huge correction. And, if it happens before the election, probably guaranteed that Biden will lose. And, if it happens after, those kinds of things spur the growth of the right. Because, again, fascism is capitalism in crisis. So after 2008, we saw the Tea Party, huge growth of the right. And a lot of that's astroturfed. It appears to be grassroots, but it's actually funded by big money. The super rich just making fake grassroots organizations. And that is just going to keep getting worse and worse the more that the global financial crisis resumes. And yeah, I actually wanted to get there was a graphic. I'm always talking about, if you look at the housing market corrected for inflation, give me a second here. There was another channel. I watch a lot of housing market stuff now because nobody's talking about the housing crisis really. But let me just get something. So this graphic that's going up on the screen right now, this is from another channel. I think I shared a video or two of theirs. It's like housing market research, Reventure Consulting. Title of the video, The Biggest Mortgage Collapse in U.S. History is Happening Right Now. It's about how demand for new mortgages has like completely collapsed. But the chart that you see on the screen, this is the home price index, inflation adjusted, going back to 1890. The green horizontal line in the middle of the screen is the 130-year average. So where are we? Okay. So if you go back to like 2000, that's where the curve starts going up. All right. And then you get that gigantic peak in 2007, that's the 2006, 2007 housing bubble, which resulted in, when it popped, and a bubble is widespread overvaluation. So when that bubble popped and values started returning to their historical average, I mean, so many things got wiped out because there was so much speculation going on in the financial system based on that, mortgage-backed securities, and there's all kinds of money tied up in that, bets on bets on bets. Well, when that fell back down to the long-term average, I mean, it caused the global financial crisis and just wiped out the system. Where are we now? Keep in mind, this is adjusted for inflation. It's even bigger, and it went right back up. We didn't even have a long, protracted period. It basically in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012, it got much lower. And then starting late 2012, early 2013, it started going back up again. And right now, we're on the precipice of probably another 2008 type crash. Once it becomes clear that this is on the way down and it's just not coming back, there's going to be massive sell-off as investors get the fuck out of the market and they try to get cash back for what they're holding. Because the whole game is buy low, sell high. You buy something cheap, and then when the market goes up, you sell it. And it does go cyclically in waves, and so people try to play that. And basically the thing. People also hold things long-term that just appreciate in value. But you get these bubbles. And so 2008, that the global financial crash was preceded by this gigantic housing bubble. And we went immediately back to the same exact type of situation. They can't save the system. It's just been on life support. So is this the final crisis? I mean, we haven't seen anything like this before. Again, this graph goes back to 1890, adjusted for inflation, house prices. So this one, to me, it was like in the cartoons, it's like the Tom and Jerry, where it's like the jaw literally hits the floor and the eyes pop out. That to me was just like, oh wow, so much makes sense looking at this chart. So yeah.